You didn't stumble onto this by accident. You don't just find something like this. If you're hearing these words right now, it means something inside you recognized the signal. And that recognition is everything. Not everyone reaches this point. Not everyone is tuned to this frequency. But you are. And the universe doesn't make mistakes with timing. It delivers exactly what you need the moment you're ready to receive it. The fact that you're here means your readiness just switched something on, something that's been waiting for you. Think about it for a second. There's been a pattern running through your life, hasn't there? A subtle signal, a feeling you couldn't quite explain, moments that felt charged, like reality paused just long enough for you to notice. Synchronicities that were too precise to ignore. Times when everything seemed ordinary on the surface, but underneath, something felt different, almost alive, almost intentional. That's not random, that's resonance. You've been picking up on a wavelength most people never even notice. And that's not because you're special in an ego sense. It's because your consciousness is tuned differently. This isn't something that happened overnight. It's been forming over time. Every challenge you faced, every moment you doubted yourself and still kept going, every time you trusted something you couldn't logically explain, all of it was expanding your perception, sharpening your sensitivity, refining your awareness, and now you're standing at a threshold where that expansion is about to accelerate. That's why certain messages stop you while others don't even register. It's not the algorithm, it's alignment. Your consciousness has become a magnet for specific information, not noise, not distraction, not entertainment, but reminders. Activations, signals meant to wake something up inside you. Signals that point you back to who you were before the world taught you to doubt yourself, to think small, to dismiss the extraordinary as impossible. You've been living in more than one reality without fully realizing it. There's the version of reality most people operate in, the one built on struggle, limitation, scarcity, where change is slow and miracles are rare. And then there's the other reality, the one you've been catching glimpses of, the one where intention shapes outcomes, where consciousness influences matter, where what you deeply expect starts to show up around you. Most people never touch that second reality. They call it fantasy, but you've been moving between both. You've had moments where something impossible worked out so cleanly that you couldn't deny it was real. And then other moments where doubt crept back in and you wondered if you imagined it all. That isn't confusion, that's calibration. You're learning how to navigate different states of consciousness. You're learning how to stabilize in a higher frequency without losing your grounding in the physical world. Lately, it's probably felt like pressure has been building inside you, like something is expanding past the limits of who you thought you were. That pressure can feel uncomfortable, even disorienting. But that's because transformation isn't gentle. The old identity starts dissolving before the new one fully forms, and that space in between can feel chaotic. What most people don't realize is that this chaos isn't breakdown, it's reorganization. Think about water right before it turns into steam. For a moment, it's not fully liquid and not yet gas. It's in transition, that's where you are. A quantum transition zone. Your old operating system is being upgraded and the programs you're about to run weren't possible in your previous configuration. This isn't random. It's not bad luck. It's not you losing control. This process has been guided by a higher level of you, a version of you that exists beyond linear time, a version that can see the entire arc of your growth. That version has been placing exactly the right challenges, delays, and wake-up calls in your path to prepare you for this moment. The pressure you've been feeling isn't pushing you to become someone new. It's pushing you to stop pretending to be someone you never were. It's the real you demanding space, demanding expression, demanding to be lived fully without apology, and the longer you resist that, the louder the pressure gets. Every wisdom tradition in history describes this moment in different language, but they're all pointing to the same thing. The moment human awareness recognizes itself as something more than a body reacting to circumstances. The moment consciousness realizes it's not separate from the intelligence shaping reality. When that realization moves from your head into your nervous system, everything changes. Not because the universe suddenly treats you differently, but because you stop treating yourself like you're powerless inside it. The things you thought were setbacks weren't failures. They were corrections. The doors that didn't open weren't rejection. They were protection. The delays weren't punishment. They were preparation. From where you're standing now, you can start to see it. Everything that seemed to go wrong was actually lining you up for something more aligned than what you were settling for. And here's the deeper part most people never see. Every experience you've had, including the painful ones, was upgrading your capacity. The heartbreak expanded your ability to love without closing down. The failures detached your worth from outcomes. The betrayals trained you to trust your inner knowing over external validation. None of it was wasted. Each challenge activated parts of your consciousness you couldn't access any other way. You didn't just grow psychologically, you evolved energetically. You learned how to hold more intensity, more truth, more awareness. Every moment of confusion increased your tolerance for uncertainty. Every season of isolation strengthened your ability to stand on your own frequency. Every time you had to find strength you didn't think you had, you discovered something that exists beyond personality, beyond story, beyond limitation. And now you're standing at the edge of a different version of reality. One that doesn't respond to wishing or hoping or waiting. It responds to certainty, not loud confidence, not fake positivity, but embodied knowing. The kind that changes how you breathe, how you walk into a room, how you talk to yourself when no one's listening. Before we go deeper, if this is already resonating with you, take a second to subscribe, not as a habit, but as a signal. This channel reaches people right when they're ready, and staying connected keeps you aligned with this frequency as it continues to unfold. Because what comes next isn't about becoming something you're not. It's about remembering something you never lost. There's a kind of certainty you're being invited back into. Not something you need to force or convince yourself of, but something you already recognize deep down. It's the same certainty you had as a child before you were trained to separate what's real from what's imaginary. Back then, possibility felt natural. You didn't question whether something could happen. You just assumed it could, and most of the time it did. That state wasn't naive. It was quantum. Children don't yet believe that consciousness is secondary to matter. They experience consciousness as primary. They live from imagination first and reality follows. They haven't been conditioned to distrust intuition or dismiss inner knowing. Recovering that state isn't about regressing. It's about upgrading. It's about expanding beyond purely linear thinking into a higher dimensional awareness that includes logic, but isn't limited by it. This is where things shift, because the version of you who already lives in abundance, clarity, peace, and power isn't somewhere in the future waiting for you to catch up. That version exists right now, in the quantum field of all possibilities. And they're not silent. They're broadcasting constantly. The thoughts that suddenly feel bigger than your current life, the ideas that don't match your circumstances yet, the moments of motivation that seem to come out of nowhere. That's not random inspiration. That's communication. Your future self isn't waiting. They're collaborating. Every inspired idea is a download. Every intuitive nudge is guidance. Every surge of energy is support. Consciousness doesn't move in straight lines, it moves across dimensions. Your future self has access to information your present mind can't yet see, and they're feeding it back to you in ways you can receive. This is why what you want doesn't feel distant in time, but distant in frequency. It's not separated from you by years or effort. It's separated by alignment. And alignment isn't something you earn. It's something you remember how to access. Here's the key most people miss. Desire isn't proof of lack. Desire is proof of resonance. You can only want what you're already tuned to at some level. The fact that you can imagine a certain life, feel it emotionally, sense it as possible, means your consciousness is already touching a reality where that life exists. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be able to conceive of it. But most people misunderstand this. They think they're pulling something toward them from a distance. They work harder. They wait longer. They try to become worthy enough. That mindset creates resistance because it's built on separation. It assumes you and what you want exist in different places. Quantum understanding says something very different. You and what you want exist in the same field. You're not attracting it. You're aligning with it. You're not forcing reality to change. You're allowing a reality that already exists to express itself through you. That difference changes everything. Attraction implies effort. Alignment implies recognition. When alignment clicks, manifestation can happen fast. Not because the universe rushed to create something new, but because you finally tuned into what was already available. This is why some things seem to appear overnight after long periods of nothing happening. It wasn't delay, it was misalignment. The moment frequency matches, reality responds immediately. And here's where the old programming shows up. The voice that says you have to earn it, prove yourself, be ready, wait your turn. That voice belongs to a scarcity-based consciousness. In a quantum paradigm, worthiness isn't achieved, it's inherent. You don't earn access to possibility. Your existence gives you access. Your imagination isn't fantasy, it's a perception tool. Where do ideas come from? Where do visions originate? You can't trace them to a single memory or experience. They arise fully formed, as if delivered. Because they are. Imagination is how higher dimensional information translates into something your mind can process. Every major breakthrough in history started as someone's unrealistic vision. And often multiple people received the same vision at the same time. That's not coincidence. That's collective consciousness upgrading and broadcasting new possibilities to receptive minds. The same thing is happening with you. The images, ideas, and futures you keep seeing aren't random. They're previews, snapshots of potential realities that already exist in the field. Your job isn't to force them into being. It's to stabilize your frequency enough to let them collapse into form. The belief that you're asking for too much is outdated programming. The belief that miracles are rare is learned limitation. When something feels deeply right instead of exciting but empty, that's resonance. That's your system recognizing home. You've been through intensity recently, nights of doubt, moments where you questioned yourself, times when others didn't see what you saw. But none of that weakened you. It forged you. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. Those periods weren't random suffering. They were precise calibration. Each challenge activated a different capacity you'll need moving forward, like a metamorphosis. From the outside, it looked like breakdown. Internally, it was reorganization. Old strategies stopped working because they belonged to an old level of consciousness. Old relationships felt tight because your frequency outgrew them. That wasn't failure. That was expansion. Isolation wasn't rejection. It was differentiation. As your awareness rises, compatibility changes. New connections are forming that match who you're becoming, not who you were. You can feel it now. The things that used to trigger you don't land the same way. Opinions don't control you. You're developing observer awareness. The ability to shift reality by how you relate to it. Attention is becoming creative. Expectation is becoming magnetic. But don't wait for validation. Don't wait for proof. Reality doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you're being. And who you're being is shaped by the story you tell yourself in moments when no one's watching. Playing small was survival. You don't need it anymore. The spaces you're moving into require full presence, full expression, full alignment. And here's the truth. There's a part of you that already knows exactly how this unfolds. It doesn't doubt. It doesn't hesitate. It doesn't need permission. That part exists outside time. It sees the end from the beginning, and it's leading now. That part of you that already knows isn't loud. It doesn't argue. It doesn't explain itself. It simply recognizes truth the moment it appears. It was present before you built an identity, before you learned who you were supposed to be, and it will still be here long after the current version of you evolves into something else. This is your essential awareness. And when you begin to trust it consistently, life stops feeling like a puzzle you have to solve and starts feeling like something that's unfolding with precision. Most people try to navigate reality using only their rational mind, and the rational mind is useful. It can analyze, organize, and plan, but it's not designed to see across dimensions of possibility. It can't access the full field. When you rely on it alone, you end up waiting for proof before you move, for certainty before you act. But proof only appears after alignment. Certainty comes from action, not before it. The intelligence guiding you doesn't communicate in logic. It communicates in sensation, in sudden clarity, in that quiet knowing that arrives without evidence. That's intuition, not emotion. Not impulse, but direct perception. And every time you listen to it, even in small ways, something shifts. Possibilities collapse. Paths open. Reality reorganizes. This is what quantum physics points to when it talks about the observer effect. Observation changes behavior. Attention collapses potential into form. Your consciousness isn't passive. It's participatory. The way you look at your life changes what your life becomes. You're not just becoming calmer or more resilient. You're developing capacities most people never activate. Pattern recognition, energetic sensitivity, the ability to sense outcomes before they happen. Influence through presence rather than force. These aren't mystical talents reserved for a few. They're natural functions of consciousness when it's no longer fragmented by doubt. But here's where many people hesitate. They wait until others confirm what they already feel. They wait for permission. They wait for circumstances to look safe. That delay is what keeps possibilities theoretical. Reality responds to embodiment, not intention alone. The universe doesn't react to words or wishes. It responds to frequency, and frequency is determined by consistency. How you speak when things don't go your way, how you move when no one's applauding, how you treat yourself in moments of uncertainty. That's the signal. You're not here to shrink yourself anymore. That version of you was built to survive, not to create. The environments you're moving toward can't be accessed from a minimized identity. They require presence. They require conviction. They require someone who moves like they belong. And you do belong, not because you earned it, but because separation was never real. The consciousness that animates you is the same intelligence that organizes nature, synchronizes timing, and holds entire systems in balance. When you align with that intelligence instead of fighting it, effort decreases and effectiveness increases. This is why things feel easier when you stop forcing, why clarity appears after you decide instead of before. Why momentum builds when you commit, not when you hesitate. Movement creates information. Action reveals alignment. Growth doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle. A shift in how you respond, a change in what you tolerate, a quiet refusal to return to old patterns. Those small choices compound, and then one day your life looks completely different. You're becoming someone who doesn't need circumstances to change before they feel worthy. Someone who generates stability internally instead of chasing it externally. Someone who trusts their own signal more than consensus reality. That trust changes everything. When you stop outsourcing authority, your decisions become cleaner. When you stop second-guessing, your energy stabilizes. When you stop explaining yourself to people who aren't listening, your presence becomes powerful. This isn't about dominance or control, it's about coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions point in the same direction, reality responds. Coherence is the strongest creative force there is. And this is where many manifestation teachings miss the point. They try to stack techniques on top of misalignment. Affirmations without embodiment, visualization without belief, hope without trust. That creates conflict instead of creation. You can't fake coherence. Your nervous system knows when you're performing optimism. Your body recognizes truth instantly. This is why some affirmations feel hollow, why some visions feel forced. Parts of you aren't aligned yet. Real transformation happens when every layer agrees. When your mind can see it, your emotions can feel it, your body can sense it, and your awareness recognizes it as familiar. That's when resistance dissolves. Instead of asking, "How do I make this happen?" the question becomes, what already feels inevitable? What feels natural when you're honest? What doesn't require convincing? Those desires don't drain you. They energize you. They don't feel like escape. They feel like return. When you find those, manifestation becomes expression. You're not pulling something toward you. You're allowing something to move through you. And this is where your influence expands beyond your personal life. Because coherence is contagious. When you stabilize at a higher frequency, others feel it, not consciously, but they leave interactions with you feeling clearer, calmer, more empowered. This is how collective change actually happens. Not through argument or persuasion, through resonance. Enough people embodying a new frequency creates a field that makes that frequency accessible to everyone. You're not just changing your life, you're contributing to a larger shift. The way you think, feel, and act right now is influencing the collective field. That's not a metaphor. That's how interconnected systems work. Humanity is in the middle of a reorganization. Old structures are failing because they can't sustain higher awareness. Systems built on fear and control are collapsing. Truths that were hidden are surfacing. People are demanding more because they sense more is possible. You felt this before it became obvious. That's why you've been restless. Why surface-level conversations don't satisfy you. Why you crave depth, meaning, authenticity. You're tuned to what's emerging, not what's fading. Your role isn't to convince anyone. It's to embody what's possible so clearly that it becomes undeniable. When people see peace in you, they question their chaos. When they see clarity in you, they reevaluate confusion. This isn't pressure, it's purpose. And purpose doesn't come from trying, it comes from alignment. What you're stepping into now isn't something new, it's something ancient, a remembering, a return to a way of being that feels natural once used to resisting it. You weren't brought here for temporary motivation or a moment of inspiration. You were guided here to activate something permanent, a shift in how you see yourself, how you move through the world, and how you respond to reality. The universe isn't testing you to see if you're worthy, It's reflecting you to show you what you already believe. Reality mirrors being, not desire. If you want different experiences, the change doesn't start with circumstances. It starts with identity, with who you're choosing to be in ordinary moments. This is where everything becomes practical. It means you start expecting different outcomes. You prepare for success instead of protecting yourself from disappointment. You speak to yourself with respect instead of criticism. You make choices from the place you're moving toward, not the place you've been surviving in. Every thought you repeat strengthens a neural pathway. Every emotion you dwell in shapes your electromagnetic field. Every word you speak over yourself programs your subconscious. This isn't abstract. This is engineering. You're not improving life from the outside. You're designing it from the inside out. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align around one vision, coherence forms, and coherence changes how reality behaves around you. This is why focused intention can alter outcomes, why expectation shifts timing, why clarity attracts opportunity. You're no longer broadcasting mixed signals. You're transmitting one clear frequency. But here's the truth. Coherence can't be forced. You can't pretend alignment. Your body knows when you're telling the truth. This is why hope without trust feels exhausting. Why motivation without conviction fades. Real alignment feels calm, certain, grounded. It comes from recognizing what's already true instead of trying to convince yourself of something that isn't. It comes from choosing desires that feel like home, not escape. When your vision matches your nature, effort dissolves. Manifestation becomes expression. You stop asking how long will this take and start asking who do I need to be today. You stop waiting for permission and start moving with quiet confidence. You stop needing validation because you're connected to something more stable than opinion. This shift doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone around you. Your presence becomes permission. Your courage unlocks courage in others. Your alignment makes alignment visible. This is how personal transformation becomes collective change. You're not alone in this. You're part of a global upgrade in consciousness. Old systems are breaking because they can't hold the new frequency. Structures built on fear are dissolving. People are questioning narratives that once controlled them. This isn't chaos, it's reorganization. You felt it early. That's why old patterns became unbearable. Why comfort felt suffocating. Why playing small started to hurt more than risking expansion. You weren't being dramatic. You were being honest. Your role isn't to fix the world, it's to embody what's possible so fully that others remember it's possible for them too. Resonance changes more than words ever could. So let this land. You don't need to rush, you don't need to prove anything, you don't need perfect conditions. The next chapter doesn't start later, it starts now. With how you breathe, how you choose, how you speak to yourself. Take a moment and comment below one word that represents the frequency you're choosing from here forward. Not as a habit, as a declaration. This is you signaling the field that the old timeline is complete. If this message is resonating, like this video and subscribe. Not just for content, but to stay connected to this frequency. To stay coherent. To stay aligned with a version of reality where your vision isn't fantasy, it's memory. Share this with someone who's ready. When you share aligned information, you amplify it for yourself as well. Consciousness responds to circulation. The waiting season is over, not because everything outside you changed, but because you did. You didn't become worthy. You remembered you always were. You didn't earn this, you aligned with it. Move through your days like someone who knows their value. Speak like someone who expects to be heard. Choose like someone who trusts their instincts. Show up like someone who belongs, because you do. You are not here to survive reality. You are here to participate in its creation. Think differently, speak differently, act differently, not to become someone new, but to let who you've always been take the lead. The frequency has shifted. The timeline has accelerated, the possibilities have expanded, and this chapter doesn't end. It begins. If you want to go deeper, watch the observer breath and learn how to shift your internal state instantly by activating your observer awareness. It's a simple technique that realigns your frequency from the inside. Remember this: you didn't find this message, it found you. And now you know why.